Hi, and welcome to Dogs Discussions YouTube. All you YouTubers, I hope you'll join us tonight. This is our first in person live, and welcome everybody. And welcome Sky. Sky is a big part of this channel, even if she has no choice, but she's a good dog. So she just comes along and she actually picks up a lot of the dogs that we interview because she's friendly and they love her. So this gets all the people who are walking the streets interested in stopping because their dogs are playing. And people want to socialize their dogs. People want to meet other people and talk about their dogs. You know, dog lovers, they love all dogs, most dogs, and they love people because the same type of person that walks a dog is just like themselves. They actually love dogs. So, welcome all, and I hope you're enjoying the channel. And thank you all for watching the channel and subscribing. I hope our channel will grow. My grandson actually wants a play button, so I'm aiming for that. But regardless of that, the journey is fun. Where it takes me outside, takes me to meet people and talk to nice people, meet some dogs. I haven't met any horrible dogs. I haven't been bitten by a dog. I was thrown down, but that was a friendly dog, but he was big. But I was fine. I jumped right up. So tonight we have a guest. His name is Erwin. He is a huge animal lover. He is the type of guy that will talk to pigeons, as you can see one of my videos. He picks up birds that were flown into windows and crashed to the grass or hit by cars, takes them to the emergency. He'll pay whatever it costs, save the bird, save the cat, save the dog. He can't stand when he sees a dog outside being tied up and abandoned by someone because they went for a coffee. He loves to walk dogs, and I think in his first life he started dog walking because he's a dog walker. This guy is in very good shape, as you could see. She is fit. It's all muscle. She is walked about on the weekends 20 to 30,000 steps, small little steps. And I won't pick up Erwin, but he's got the same body actually. It's all muscle. And of course, I'm all fat. But regardless, welcome. And so, Erwin, you really love animals. And how did you become an animal lover? You didn't even grow up. You didn't have a dog or a cat when you were a child. And tell us, what is it about animals that you love and you'll do anything to protect them?
Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely did not grow up with dogs. My mom and dad never had the time to, to love or spend time with animals. We're pretty hardworking people, especially my late dad. And and in those days, people did not have dogs in so-called olden days the way they have now, especially post-COVID and post many other situations. There is uh, a wide range of people, rich, poor, who have dogs. I'm amazed how much money some people who hardly earn a living, who don't have any real income, sometimes spend on animals, feeding animals, caring for animals, medical care as well for animals. That's pretty amazing, quite frankly. So I love animals. I love walking with animals, talking to animals, saving animals. They, I always like the underdog, so to speak. Even in watching sports, I always tend to root for an underdog. And animals are basically the underdog. They couldn't survive without people, and that's really in my nature. And I was always pretty much leaning towards policies that help animals and working class people as well. So that's really my background.
So, what kind of dogs have you had?
Well, I've always had big dogs and small dogs. I think the this particular dog here, known as Sky, is
A toy
What?
poodle.
it's a toy poodle. It's one of the smallest dogs we've had. I think we had one other dog that was maybe 3 or 4 pounds lighter. Sky is around 11 pounds, roughly. And we generally had dogs on the smaller size, but we've had some very large dogs as well. But for now, this is who we're caring for, who I have the most fun with. And I do personally, I walk. She gives me a lot of joy. Sky walks with me a lot. You mentioned 20 or 30,000, I think, steps on the weekend. It would be close to 30,000 steps with Sky. During the week, a lot less because I'm not home. I have a job outside the home for about 12 hours a day, so I only get home a little late. But I make sure to walk Sky early,
Oh, I didn't bring the Kleenex.
early in the morning.
Such a hard work.
I know I don't pretend to be hard work. I'm trying to make an excuse why I don't walk the dog enough. I really should spend less time working outside of the house and more time with Sky and helping other animals. You're right.
So, are you enjoying Dogs Discussions? I see you were eagerly going out and sending videos and recording people. Do you enjoy that? It's not your job, but
Yeah, I do. It's basically this was your idea and it's your project, and I'm trying to help as much as I can. I'm not around a lot to help in this project, and it's not something I would have
thank
guessed.
God.
Well, it's not something I would have guessed that you would have done 5 or 10 years ago. But then again, um, our whole population is becoming more and more oriented towards, learning on the webs and podcasts, and that all started with people working from home ever since COVID in April, I think it's 2020, and it's that's one of the reasons that you may have gotten into it. I've never participated in things of that nature, and it's fun to do so. I like walking the streets with my dog, meeting other people with dogs, and asking them their permission to talk to their dog, actually, and to talk to them. Some people don't like to be videoed, so they say we don't mind you putting our dog on dog
Right.
discussions, but they themselves are shy to do so for reasons that are not really clear to me. I never ask anybody, why don't you want to be on the video as well?
And why do you think they don't? Because in the States, there's a very famous dog person. He's called the Doggist. He's excellent. And he's in New York and he goes all over the States. Everybody just, sure, it's, we don't mind. They don't mind.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe he's refused to many people we don't know about, but he seems to have millions of videos of people with their dogs and them, owners seems to not mind. But here in Canada or Quebec, where we live, it's very hard to get someone on the video. Just the dog, they don't mind.
yeah. I've experienced a few people who don't want to be part of the video. They say just the animal, and they don't mind speaking, but they just don't want to have their face, if you will, on the video. Not that many. I would say less than 20%, in my experience, are like that for reasons that really I don't know. Maybe they're just private people, or they're not on YouTube, or social media in general. So
Hi, Brentwood.
so I respect that. Hi, everybody.
Thanks for coming, Brentwood. We won't keep you long, but we love you.
Brentwood is from where?
Brentwood is from the United States.
Well,
In
Brentwood.
the US, especially New York, we
Brent-
have big personalities. Okay,
Brentwood isn't that California? I remember
Yeah, it
there's
is
a
California,
place in
but
California called
Brentwood's not from California. I thought so, but she's
Oh.
not sure where from.
Brentwood. Okay.
So I guess she can hear us because she's responding. Thank you, Brentwood.
Brentwood, can you hear us? We're all the way in Canada. It's pretty far north compared to where you are, but thank you for for
Brentwood
joining
is our
us.
first guest, and we forgot to say, but our first guest gets a puppy. So let me know, Brentwood, when and what kind of puppy I can deliver to you. I would love for you to have a puppy one day. Maybe you have a puppy, but another one. So here we are. It's fall. It's beautiful. Everybody's out in the streets walking around in the leaves. At least I am. I simply love the fall. I find it's the most beautiful time of the year. And I wonder if the dogs like it as much. Probably, because they can sniff around and it's not that cold yet. Slow mode is on. You have to wait 1 minute. In Tennessee. Love you too. She's from Tennessee,
Oh,
Brentwood.
Tennessee. Oh, sorry about, I think you had a bit of the hurricane, I believe, at least a bit. And, a week or 10 days ago or so. So I hope you're in proper recovery. I don't think it was as bad as some of the other places in the Southeast, but our hearts went out to everybody down there. It was really, really scary. We don't have that up here in Canada. We have snowstorms and stuff, but really that doesn't create a lot of damage, generally speaking. You just got to shovel a lot more snow, to drive around and stuff like that.
All right. So I think we're going to go with a few jokes now, just to entertain Brentwood. What's the best way, Erwin, to stop your dog from barking in the front yard?
I don't know.
Put him in the backyard.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
Why did the dog stay out of the sun?
No clue.
So he wouldn't become a hot dog.
Did you make these up or?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if that's a copyright.
No, I wouldn't worry about it.
In the middle, Tennessee. So no damage here. Terrible in the east. Okay. Yeah. All right. What did the dog do? No, why did the dog do so well in school?
Studied hard.
Because he was the teacher's pet.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
What dog breed loves to live in New York?
A Yorkie.
Yes, you got it. My dog's not fat. He's just husky. There are no losers in the Dachshund race. They're all winners. Winners?
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
You got to be careful with your language. There's a lot of language police watching these programs, apart from Tennessee police.
What did the Dalmatian say when he finished dinner?
I'm full.
No, that hit the spot.
Oh, that's good. By the way, Tennessee, I think they're called the Volunteers. You have a great college football team, and you have a good NFL team as well. And I'm not sure if you have a pro basketball team in the NBA. And I don't think you have a hockey team in the NHL, but correct me if I'm wrong. There could be somebody in Knoxville. No, Nashville. Nashville Predators. Nashville is Nashville the capital of Tennessee? I think so. I'm not sure. And they're in the they're certainly in the NHL.
Okay. What do you call a dog playing outdoors in the winter?
A winter dog.
A chilly dog.
Oh, okay. That's good.
What is Dracula's favorite dog breed?
A bloodhound.
Hey, good one. Hey, you got that one.
I'm not reading or watching any of
Oh,
this.
I know. You're very smart.
I'm like Sky. You know what? This is
He's
pretty
the smart
bad.
one. I'm the nice one.
It's not true.
No?
No. And by the way, when you didn't see Sky seems to be a little bit, maybe, I don't want to say bored, because you're supposed to plug your show, but he sort of wants to lie down on my knee here. Okay, it's okay.
Brentwood says, yeah, go Volunteers. We have hockey. Nashville is the capital, about 15 minutes from me.
Yeah. Great team.
What kind of dog should you get if you're always late? Come on.
Johnny come lately.
A watchdog.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Where do dogs park their cars? In the
lot.
parking lot.
Right. Barking lot.
Yeah.
Good.
Why are skeletons afraid of dogs?
Not sure.
Because they love bones.
Oh, yeah.
So, Brentwood, I think you're getting 2 puppies. Brentwood. I wish we lived closer. So, did you had any you practice law, correct?
Yes, a little.
So did you ever have a case about somebody bought a dog and then the dog right away died, or was, God forbid, got hit, I don't know, wasn't doing well, needed a hip replacement? I just met somebody who actually needed a hip replacement. It was $10,000 for the dog to get a hip replacement, stuff like that, or a divorce where they're fighting over a dog. And
Yeah, no, sure. There's a lot of cases involving dogs because almost like children, there's custody issues in respect of dogs.
Yeah.
People spend tons of money. I'm not suggesting that we do this type of law every day. It's not really a reliable source of income, if you will. Having said that, there are fascinating cases because you can buy a dog like anything else that has what you call a latent defect. But that's almost expected in many situations involving animals, just like, heaven forbid, in childbirth. You're not giving back the child when, God forbid, it comes out with some sort of defect. Because you're paying money and there's a contract and there's consumer protection laws that gives you some coverage for.
Oh, so you mean your mother couldn't give you back? No matter how hard she tried.
My mother would never take me back. That's for
She
sure.
wouldn't take you back and she wouldn't give you back.
Right. But that's pretty sad though, that someone has a dog and gets injured and then they want to give the dog back, or there's something wrong because it's not what they bargained for. It's sort of terrible that you would even take a case, not the lawyer, I'm talking the people that own the dog. We don't want this dog. It's too onerous now. We never expected A, B, and C to happen. And it's really, there's a special responsibility when you're an owner and you get a rescue dog or you buy a dog from any source. It's your dog. It's your dog for life. And, I think it's sort of ridiculous that people, and I can well understand people suing in order to take custody of the dog when a man or a woman uses the dog as a pawn in a matrimonial dispute. That would be pretty ridiculous.
But what about, look, for example, Sky. We bought Sky, and during COVID, she was, I asked for a Maltese Bichon, and then they dropped off a toy poodle at quite a pricey price. I don't even, I'm embarrassed to say what the price was, but people know what they jacked up prices for dogs during COVID. And I love Sky and all that, but I was disappointed that I didn't get the dog I really wanted. And a friend of mine bought a dog from the same breeder. She wanted a white, also Maltese. She got a black poodle dropped off at her house for many thousands of dollars. So there's a lot of bad scam breeders out there that are getting away and laughing all the way to the bank. Have you heard of any cases like that have been solved?
Yeah, and there
are any breeders in jail?
No, you don't go to jail for that. There's a lot of scammers, and I think the only thing you could and probably should do is make it known to the public who these people are so that they're aware, not to deal with those people. But, you never had, and certainly I did never have any intention of giving back this dog because the wrong dog was dropped off at our house. And which, of course, brings us back to the whole issue of, there's a lot of people, rich and poor, who insist on getting rescue dogs and not dogs from so-called fancy breeders at fancy prices. Look, there's an argument for both, and we don't have to get into that. But it's pretty sad when you walk into these stores, or even the SPCA, what it's called here in Canada, and other places. But I hand it to these people that really rescue rabbits, dogs, even birds, ducks. And I mean, do you ever see on the in the media all these animal stories, these wild animals that get stuck in a fence, and there's people driving down a country road like in Tennessee to rescue the animal out of the fence with barbed wire, and then they take over that animal. The saddest one is when a dog of, say, if I had an elderly mother, the mother dies and the dog comes home, wants to stay with the mother, and the mother was just buried at, at 90 years old or something. And the kids take over the dog and they make the dog friends with their own dogs. It's another generation. So those are very sad stories. And just like human beings, when, God forbid, parents are killed in an accident and their kids become orphans, then immediate family, if there is immediate family, sometimes immediate family does not exist or does not care, believe it or not, to take over the uh, an orphaned animal or dog or human in that case.
By the way, this toy poodle only likes Irwin. She doesn't like me. She is like a very one person in the family dog. She can sit on the couch all day and just wait for Her Highness to come back home and make sure when he walks through the door. I've said this before. First of all day long, I get a text message, "How's Sky?" And then when he walks through the door, he says, "Did she eat?" He's like, "What about me? Don't I look like I'm starving to death?" No, no, no. Did she go out? Did she walk? No. Hey, now she's my friend. She's because she's sitting here. She's a show dog. She's posing, but she really, if Irwin leaves the room, she takes off. She is. I guess dogs know. I mean, well, like who really cares for them? But I'm the one that makes her pretty. I take her to the groomer, and oh, she doesn't like it. I guess that's maybe another reason she doesn't like me. I take her to the vet. There's the second reason she doesn't like me. And he just takes her on these scenic tours, walking and meeting boyfriends and dog friends and all kinds of people. So I guess that's why she loves him. And actually, I'm the one that always brings a dog home. It's not Irwin that goes out to rescue a dog, like at a rescue. He would, but we have to have a non-allergic dog because we're allergic actually to the dander. But he's like, oh, okay, no more dogs, because when we lose a dog, when the dog gets old and passes, it's very, very, very sad and sick. It's very sad, and then he has a complete breakdown. So he says no more dogs, no more dogs. But I don't listen. I never listen to him or to anybody really. Just I listen to my heart, and if my heart says that we need a dog in the house, I'll get one, because a home is kind of a little more fun if you have a dog or a cat or a bird or a fish. It sometimes can get too quiet, even though we have other people living here with us, but it's a nice distraction. They are, she she keeps him busy, which is good. So he just comes home, eats, and then goes out with the dog, and then comes back, and then he'll be at the door, and he'll say, like, her feet are black up to here, like, "Do you have a towel?" Or, "You think I should give her a bath or a shower?" And I'm saying, like, "Do you know how to give her a bath or a shower?" "Oh, yeah, sure. I do it every night." Actually, do you give her a bath every night? Because I hear you talking about it.
I shower often.
Because
I
she
don't give a
sleeps in the
lot of
bed.
baths. I do give her a shower at the same time as I do, and she doesn't seem to mind that
No,
much.
but she hides under the bed.
Yeah, she does, but she doesn't really resist it, and it's not a long shower. By the way, on what you said, I should add that Anne's favorite would be not really to live in a city, but to live somewhere out in the country on a farm with a lot of different animals, not necessarily 10 dogs or 2 dogs, but all kinds of animals. sheeps, and many kinds of animals, even parrots. We both like parrots for whatever reason. You can train parrots, but they do fly away sometimes.
Yeah.
We go looking for them. They always announce on the radio there's a lost parrot somewhere 12 miles away. So we go hunting for the parrot. It's not frequent that you find them, but they often come back to their residence. So, but within our family, strangely enough, there's not a lot of dog owners now that I'm thinking of immediate family. So it wasn't a natural thing. All the family
Parrots
and the
live a
kids
long time.
like dogs, but there's not a lot of family that are owners of dogs, at least in our particular families.
No, but they all love Sky because
Yeah.
she's very gentle, and it's very important for kids. I have 3 grandkids here, and now they're not afraid of dogs. So I'm still afraid of a few dogs, but she's so can do anything to her. She's really gentle, and which is a good thing. And they can walk her because she's small. We had a larger dog, and that we used to pull the kids. They used to fall down and cry, but now everybody can walk. They fight over this one, but usually she's just sitting on her daddy's lap. We call her girlfriend, and she's happy. That's her happy place. And yeah. So what was I going to say about dogs and law? Have you ever? I think weren't you once? No, you weren't bitten by a dog, or
No,
you were
there's tons
run
of
over by a bicycle. Something happened to you.
There's tons of cases involving why people have an obligation to train their dogs. The simplest example would be you get a dog in a residential area like where we live, and if there's 20 homes on the street, you can't at 5 in the morning walk your dog down the street and the dog's relentlessly barking very loud, especially big, loud dogs. That infringes on the peace and quiet of normal families early in the morning. So, and you could be sued for that. Okay, not for very much money here in Canada, but for not properly training your dog and taking your dog outside. It's almost like honking a horn in front of somebody's house,
Right. It's
relentlessly.
true.
So you have to really train your dogs or not bring them out till at least a reasonable hour, if at all. If every dog on the street acted like certain dogs, it wouldn't be a very peaceful, harmonious environment. Sky really isn't a barker, though like many dogs, when she sees another dog, especially one bigger than her, she will tend to bark, but in order to get the attention of the dog and to play, even with a bigger dog. So she's pretty well trained. We didn't have to really work that hard on.
No, the scammer trained her quite well. That was one thing she did. The scammer who sent us the wrong dog trained the dog not to bark. How, I don't know, but I'm sure it wasn't fun.
No, it wasn't. In fact, I don't believe it was. I think she was probably forceful in the training, because Sky, certainly for the first year, was a bit nervous. And anytime you would like pat Sky, like I'm doing now on the head, she was nervous.
And she would jump.
That
Hey, Sky?
I'm glad no one's hitting.
Now
hitting
she
me,
only jumps when I touch her.
hitting her on the head. She's really an innocent, nice little girl. Actually, do you see any questions on there? I can't see that far.
No, I don't see questions, but I see comments. Parrots live a long time. Brentwood says she's a daddy girl. That's Marl says cute tandem. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And
we should go to Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Why is it called
Sure.
Volunteers? Tennessee Volunteers. That's their famous, great college football team. Almost always in the top 10 in the USA.
What kind of law do you practice?
I do a lot of commercial and personal litigation, which is sort of like court work, which you see a lot on TV or on
Law and crime?
on podcasts. More civil than criminal, but I have been involved in quite a few criminal cases as well. Some famous, some not so famous. And it's really a fun job to have. I never had any intention of doing that until I was much older, I think around 19 or 20 years old. And that's what I've done for the last few decades.
I didn't know it was fun. You always said it was exhausting. It's such a hard job. And when I would be complaining about my job, you would say, "Oh, you don't even know how to make $1." But I'm going to make millions on YouTube, just like Mr. Beast. I doubt it.
That's
But-
not my style to ever say anything like that to you, and I haven't. What I did say is, before we were together, we sort of had a pact that you really wanted to be the prime. It's a little bit different
Mooch.
today. No,
I
no,
wanted free rent and free food.
the prime.
And you wanted to have fun doing law.
No, you wanted to
So
be.
we both got what we wanted.
You insisted on bringing up the kids. Okay.
We didn't have kids then, so how did I know I would even have any?
Well,
So
you
I
had
don't
an
think we
intention.
had a pact like that, because I didn't see it in the marriage contract
You
that
made it
you
pretty
made
clear
me
to me.
sign.
You made it
Because
pretty
of the
clear to
marriage
me.
contract that he made me sign, I couldn't even buy menstrual pads if I got divorced. Forget about if I had kids. He's saying that I was going to
I
stay
don't
home and
know
raise.
anything about marriage contracts.
Oh, I thought you didn't know anything about menstrual pads, because I
No.
don't think you did either.
But marriage contracts, I really couldn't care less about. It doesn't have much meaning here.
Well, not anymore
in
after
our,
50 years.
It's not
I think,
50 years.
okay, I know. We're only married 2
Maybe
years.
it feels like 50
He's
years.
vain. He doesn't want you to think he's been practicing law for 50 years. I'm not vain.
That sounds like a long time.
I'm proud. I'm proud to be this old lady. I'm lucky I'm still here, and I'm strong, and I've been raising my kids, and I still have one in the house who's special, and I'm still raising him, and I do have free rent and free food. So I guess you could call me a bit of a scammer, but I let him go to work and he has fun.
Well, I consider I have free rent and free food too, basically, because everything comes from the heavenly body, as you know. It
Oh.
doesn't, we're lucky enough that we have what we have, and that's the way it is, and we have to share what we have as much as possible.
Brentwood says volunteer because of the War of 1812. Asked each state for men to fight, and Tennessee sent 30,000. We're proud of the nickname.
That's great. And you know what? Now that I think of it, I've been to many, many states in the USA, but because Tennessee didn't border like the Eastern Seaboard, if you're driving down the East Coast from Montreal, if you drive the East Coast, you go through New York State, and then Virginia. You don't even do West Virginia. You do South and North Carolina, and then Georgia, and you may get to Florida. By the way, I don't want you to think Canadians all go to Florida. I've been there twice in my life for a total of about a week total. So we're not one of those Canadians. We like up north, and we like mountains, and we do like snow up here. Most Canadians do like going down through Tennessee into.
I'm going to start charging you though for shoveling the snow. That's not included in the scam.
I like shoveling snow. It's a good workout, and Sky's going to help me.
She's going to be lost in the snow.
Yeah.
I don't think she's going to like to go 20,000 steps. She doesn't like you to put on boots.
Yeah, but she does like
She's
it
too small. You're
outside.
going to need a big dog for the winter.
We're going to have to let her hair grow. She just got a clipping, unfortunately, just before the winter. So in another month, it'll all grow back. And it's still going to be warm here for another month or so. And we'll see. By the way, thanks for that explanation on Volunteers of Tennessee. I didn't know, and I didn't Google it or look it up.
No, he doesn't know how to Google.
That's the type. I do know how to Google
How
it
come you're always asking me to Google things?
because I'm busy doing dogs discussions and different things.
What do you like more, dogs discussions or practicing law?
Both are good. Both
Yeah.
are good. They're a lot of fun. As long as I can help you from time to time, I'm happy.
What I'm telling you, you don't know how to take a proper video. and you don't really know how to interview people. You're like, oh, she's adorable. This is such a cute dog. Does he swim? Why are you so obsessed with the dog swimming?
So
Are you like a swimmer?
Yes, I am. I'm a swimming instructor, as you know.
Oh, you're
And-
doing that also? That was when you were like
No.
15?
No, I passed.
Your
at
long-term memory is
university.
good.
I passed university. I'm an official Red Cross swimming instructor.
Really?
And I
How many
didn't get-
people have you saved?
I've saved a few actually in public pools where I used to work.
Really?
And I also worked in Jasper, Alberta, as a lifeguard for 4 months in a major big hotel, and in Atlantic City at the Claridge and Deauville Hotel as a busboy, waiter, and lifeguard at
Really?
the pool after I became a lifeguard. Now that she asked me that question.
Well, we're going to have to verify that, just like they had to verify if Kamala worked at McDonald's.
I think the jury's out on that. I don't think she worked at McDonald's.
No,
And
doesn't matter.
Trump did work at McDonald's for that 1 hour or whatever.
That was funny.
And it was. He is actually has
Imagine
a
going through
great
the
sense of
drive-through
humor.
and then seeing him at the window.
Yeah.
That's funny. She wouldn't be that. That's one good thing about him. He's funny. And yeah, I never did work at McDonald's. And I just heard that. Anyways, I don't want to talk about. I don't want to trash McDonald's because
Yeah.
they just had a problem.
Yes,
And
they did. And obviously it wasn't their fault.
well, whose fault is it?
You know what? You don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not suggesting that. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody had it in for McDonald's and did something. I heard that the main problem was the onions, not the burger itself. The quarter pounder were the onions in these
The
particular
raw onions. Yeah.
that caused the problem. But when you're not sure, you shouldn't say anything. But I did see that their stock, which I don't own, went down in one day 4 or 5% yesterday because of this event.
That's not
So,
good. And
no,
somebody died, one person or
One
more, and
yeah.
very, very sick.
And there was some poisoning, absolutely.
Awful. Couldn't they figure out? I hope they can figure out where it came from.
Yeah, they said the onions, but you'll hear
But-
more and more of it soon.
But they're going to be able to tell the source of the E. coli or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's onions, but that's not the E. coli. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody, like you said, did something.
We'll see that, it's less than 48 hours. So we'll see what happens with that. But I look forward to getting down to Nashville. And who's in Nashville?
Don't worry, Brentwood. He doesn't go anywhere.
A lot of
Let's
people,
talk.
no. Nashville, a
He's
lot
not
of people
coming.
are moving out of California to Texas, to Florida, and even some to Nashville. I read that. I think it's more than one. I can understand them moving out of California. It's really become a decrepit USA state, overtaxed, and I don't really like the politics going on there, but I'm a Canadian, so it's not relevant.
Hey, look at this. Brentwood said she's a swimmer too, competitive swimmer, most of her youth, and now daily exercise. That's so good, Brentwood.
That is good.
That's amazing.
So
We have rolling hills in Tennessee and mountains in the east.
could you tell us when you did competitive swimming, was it at school, at high school or university, or swim teams in various organizations? And what was your best stroke for competitive swimming? Or do you just do a lot of, swimming in laps or master swimming if you're over 30 and stuff like that? I'd be curious to know. It's the greatest sport. You don't need a lot of equipment and you can get a great workout in 35 minutes at the most.
Yeah. I don't know how to change the slow mode, Brentwood. Sorry. I don't even, I'm not good. I need a few more lessons. And
What's slow mode?
you can only chat every minute. You have to wait. So if anybody writes something, you have to wait another minute before you can write another thing. You can't write every
Oh,
second because I don't know
I saw
how to
that.
do that.
Okay.
Summer league and school competed in all strokes, but breast was my best.
Wow. That's
so
so
good.
hard.
That's the
Bess.
hardest.
It is.
It-
Especially on your neck and your shoulders, but even on your stomach muscles with the legs outside there.
You have to
That's
be very good
fantastic.
coordinated. I can never get that frog kick going.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
butterfly is pretty hard too. Let's face it. And
Yeah. But what's the easiest stroke? Front crawl?
Easiest stroke. Yeah, the front crawl would be the easiest one. It's definitely the fastest one. Backstroke is very hard too, especially if you keep hitting your head against the wall. If you don't know how to spin off and
Tumble
see the
turn.
wall for the tumble turn, you got to know you're approaching. I guess you look at the side, whatever. But all our kids did swim team from a very early age. I'm going to plug her because she taught our kids how to swim at age 1 and then at age 2, and they were on swim team at age 3 here. And our daughter, our oldest daughter, was a competitive swimmer who could have gone very, very far towards the Olympics, but she did not.
She liked the butterfly.
Yeah.
And my son, one of them liked the breaststroke.
Yeah.
And then one of them didn't like it at all because the starter gun scared him. And then he never went back to swim team. They used to use a gun to start the races. What the heck is going on here? Someone's going to shoot me. So he ran out of the pool and he ran away. But he was only 5 or 6. But since then, no more guns. He hates guns and he hates competitive swimming because he has that, memory of that post-traumatic stress from the bullet, not the bullet, it sounds like a real gun, starter gun.
He was also swimming, but he was swimming against, she put them in, these kids were much bigger and they were like 8, 9, and 10 years old. Yeah, and he was only 6 and going against them.
But they liked it.
Yeah.
They loved it.
Yeah. I saw what's going on in the US a little bit where there's male swimmers transing into females and they're swimming against females. I find that very odd and unfair to the female swimmers because how could they possibly win? Some actually do. They must be amazing swimmers against a male. That's not just in swimming. It could be other sports as well, including volleyball, where I saw that a whole female team refused to play against another team when one of the members of the other team was a male, and he was, well, now it's she, but he was spiking the ball at about 60 miles per hour and killing these other girls. So anyways, that's another issue. So we're not allowed to talk about politics, but really that's part of life. And
or you could talk about the case you were in about abortions. Remember that case? That's yes. One of your first cases when you were young.
I do remember.
I think you're allowed because there's a book was written about it, and your picture is actually in it. Yeah. One of the pages. It was Dr. Morgentaler.
It was a very famous
he's
case.
Passed, right?
Yeah.
He's passed away.
I was actually the youngest lawyer on that. I was still an articling student and a first-year lawyer. The senior partner in charge of that, he asked me to assist him in that case. And I remember the Dr. Morgentaler was the first abortion case taken in Canada at least 4 decades ago. And he was charged with murder. And he was acquitted by a jury of his peers here in Montreal, Canada. And then eventually convicted in the Court of Appeal. It went to the Supreme Court. I won't deal with all that. And the most interesting thing is, this was really my first exposure to this kind of media type of case. And I went to visit the doctor, my very first visit. The senior partner said, Erwin, why don't you go speak to him, find out more about the case, get some facts, and come back and tell me about it. And so I went to this abortion clinic where he was operating. And what happened is as soon as I left the clinic, the media accosted me and they asked me, sir, are you one of the lawyers representing Dr. Morgentaler? I said, yes. He says, well, how could you represent a murderer? And I really didn't know what hit me because at that time, and to some degree even today, I had just graduated law and became a member of the bar. Abortion wasn't a big issue in our day. And certainly guys, when they were in law school, we never even discussed that issue. We discussed other issues like the war in Vietnam or something like that, or the Constitution. We never discussed that, the guys. So I answered the reporter. You asked me, how can I represent a murderer? Number one, he's going to be acquitted of murder. He's presumed innocent. And I think that's a very improper question. How can I? It's like asking a doctor, how can they do surgery on somebody that murdered somebody's child if he needed surgery? Doctors do that every day. They save criminals and they save terrorists, doctors. And so it's really the same thing. It's part of your job. You take an oath, you have to do it. And that was that case. Did I answer your question at all?
No.
Okay.
But we lost Brentwood because she had to go. And
Thank you, Brentwood.
yes, but we love you and thank you for coming. And she said that her first swimming meet when she was 6 years old. So she could have been one of my kids
Wow.
because she started very young.
That's fantastic.
And she doesn't do butterfly anymore, but the backstroke is good for the abs too. And she looks forward to chatting and seeing us again. So thank you for coming. And we really appreciate all your help and hope to see you guys again soon. So what do you think about confronting dog owners who are walking their dogs off leash? And do you confront them or do you just,
Yeah.
let it go?
I sort of, the odd time I would give them a dirty look, or if I really don't like the guy, if he continues to do it, I would say, this is really quite dangerous for your dog. And if I really wanted to be nasty, I would just call the local, not police, it's the security of the town you live in.
Right.
And they would come and they'd give this guy a ticket.
Right.
Of course, the guy would know I was the guy who called the police, but I haven't really done that at all, quite frankly.
What do you think about people who want to come over? You invite a couple over for dinner or for coffee, and they bring their dog that sheds, like they have long-haired husky or Pomeranian or whatever they're called. And he comes in, the dog jumps all over the place and sheds all over the place. What would you do about that? Would you say anything, or would you invite them back, or would you tell them next time, please leave your dog at home? What do you think is proper etiquette for that?
Okay, that's a good question. But as you know, or as I know, that really doesn't happen very often, because people who do have dogs, who do shed, they're very aware of it when they buy or get the dog. And they're careful of where they go with the dog in terms of other people's homes and whatever. So they would either ask permission to come, and I have not seen myself that kind of dog in this house more than once, maybe. And it wouldn't bother me that much. But people don't really do it. They bring their screaming, nasty, spoiled kids and not their dogs. They leave them at home.
Well, I don't know any screaming, nasty kids.
I'm just saying that's what I'm giving an example of why.
No, I don't.
No, I'm not referring to anybody even in my family. What I am referring to is how there's two classes of people, how they treat animals differently. They would bring an uncontrollable human to your house without seeking permission, but a dog.
I don't know any uncontrollable humans. I don't know who you're talking about, but it must be my relatives because you don't talk to yours.
Well, there's plenty of wars.
That's maybe because you were uncontrollable when you were little.
Not really, but close. Yeah.
Didn't you try to tip the boat when you were like 10 and your aunt was like 8 months pregnant and she couldn't swim?
Yeah.
And she always tells that story.
She does.
You stood up in the canoe and started to rock and she's screaming.
That is true.
Did it tip?
It did not tip. I actually fell into the freezing water. It was a cold lake. And
okay, so God was watching.
Yeah. And
protecting her.
I was very young. I don't think I was 13 or 12 when I did this. And I don't know why my parents allowed me to take her out. She was about 10 years older than me. Small little girl she was at the time, maybe 4'11" or 5 feet tall maximum. And she was so nervous, and I took advantage of that, and that was really wrong. And but God punished me because I fell into the freezing water, and I had to hang on to the boat.
That's true, but you knew how to swim. You were in the swim team, and you were a good swimmer.
Yes, but
so you're lucky that your aunt didn't fall in the water, because you might have been in jail.
Yeah, and she wasn't.
Then you wouldn't be here tonight.
True.
Well, there was one story I read about two sisters They're both in their late 50s. And one of them asked the other one if she would watch her dog when she went away to Florida for a month. And the one of the sisters didn't, the one who she asked didn't have a dog and didn't want to watch her sister's dog. And so now the two sisters they're estranged because of that. What do you think about that? Is it your sister's responsibility to watch your dog? And then do you have a right to be angry because she doesn't want to watch the dog? What do you think?
Well, to tell you the truth, I was a bit daydreaming while you were asking me that question.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Okay. Having said that,
At least you weren't sleeping as usual.
I'll give you the general rule. No one has an obligation to watch someone else's dog. But if they take on the obligation by saying, leave the dog here and go somewhere and have a good time, you'll recall that we left one of our dogs here with somebody who we trusted very much. And in the middle of the trip, we found out that our dog died.
Well, that
On
was
the
not her
second day.
fault.
Not at all. It wasn't
The
at all
dog
her
was
fault.
like 18 years old and
Had
had
a
a
heart
heart
attack or
attack and she
something.
was at a heart murmur
That's right.
and was going to die, and it was minus 30 out, and the girl was devastated, and we were all devastated, but we knew that the dog was not well.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't take the dog with us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we usually travel with our dogs. We take our dogs everywhere. You take the dog anywhere, especially where it says no dogs allowed. He says no dogs allowed. He goes marching in with the dog. Doesn't matter. It says no dogs, and then they go up to, I think a lawyer thinks they're like chief police detective of the town or the president. Like he's well protected. How come you go and it says no dogs allowed, let's say, and you're in the arena, for example, in an arena?
Well, I don't challenge the law on that. If they say no dogs, I respect that. But I guess I'm waiting for someone to tell me. I need a physical person, not a sign, to tell me what the law is. The person comes over and says, have you not read the sign? Or can you just respect
Right,
the
and
rules?
I know what you say. No, I can't see. And then you say can't hear. And then what else do you say?
I say, I do whatever my
sorry.
wife tells me to do, and I'm here. And
Oh,
she knows
no,
about
I'm
it,
the one.
so talk to my wife.
Okay, blame your wife. You said not
Well,
to
what
say
else is a
you were
wife-
my wife.
What else is a wife for?
All right, I guess we'll end it on that. And I want to thank you, Erwin, for all the interviews that you've done. You're starting to hold the camera straight. You're starting to change from swimming. Does your dog ski? Here's your girlfriend. You take her. You love her. She loves you. And good night, everybody. I hope everybody stays healthy, happy, and thank you for joining us. And keep subscribing and likes. As I don't get any comments. I'd like comments, good or bad, or doesn't matter. Just anything apparently helps the YouTube, so you can say anything you want.
Good night.
Good night to all, and let's hope for peace in the world.
Bonne soirée.